there's a lot of rappers behind the scene that want to talk about it and they're scared. But sweetheart, I'm not scared. I'm legendary in these streets. You know how many artists I've spoken to behind the scenes that are too afraid to speak up?
So you will speak. We'll speak, y'all.
I'm gonna speak because y'all can't touch me. I am completely protected. I am protected by God. Y'all don't see that by now?
Rapper Nicki Minaj was the apparent target of a swatting call last night at around 7 p.m. The LA County Sheriff's Department received a call claiming an assault with a deadly weapon had occurred at the Grammy winner's Hidden Hills residence.
All right. Remember when Jay-Z said this?
I think we passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. This time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him.
You got to be working with him. As far as I'm concerned, Roc Nation is run by a couple. You know what I'm saying? Why would people think the government don't run businesses? You don't think by right now that they got a major rapper that's a snitch?
Welcome back to Celeblits, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. Nicki Minaj just dropped some serious receipts, and this time she's coming directly for Roc Nation. She's accusing them of being behind a whole setup operation targeting major rappers.
Prevent me from making wrong.
The incident started on March 27th of last year.
So legally, I can't go home.
No.
Why?
Demore Hadley says she was lured to that parking lot by someone posing as a potential client for the landscaping company she runs with her then boyfriend, now husband.
She said her mom didn't just play dirty. She went full-blown cartel with it. Once she told Desiree she wasn't leaving her husband, that's when things got real grimy.
And she's naming names too, including Jay-Z and convicted ex-trafficker turned government informant Desiree Perez. But Nicki's not just throwing wild shots. She's connecting Roc Nation to Tory Lance's Sentence, 6ix9ine snitch label drama, Casanova's Raito case, and several other high-profile takedowns. And here's the twist. The one thing linking all these cases, speaking out against, Desiree Perez. But just when things couldn't get any more explosive, Desire's own daughter jumped into the fire, publicly backing Nicki.
So legally, I can't go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker acted.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demore Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able to come?
I don't want to be in handcuffs.
Okay.
Demore says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before.
Your mom is supposed to be your aunt.
Okay. And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of Roc Nation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper.
Now, ask yourself this. If Desiree allegedly did that to her own daughter, what lengths would she go to against someone like Nicki? Especially now that Nicki's leaking receipts suggesting Roc Nation might have deeper ties to the government than anyone realized. And if that sounds too wild to believe, just look at Desiree's own daughter exposing her online, dropping claims that should have been front-page news. Yet somehow not a single major outlet dared to touch the story. The silence speaks louder than words. And it's making the whole thing feel even darker.
She has been through some trauma and some abuse with Roc Nation, with Desiree Perez, with other individuals. They've abused her. They've abused of her platform. They abused of her talents. They've abused of her freedom of speech. They've abused her family. They've attacked her husband. They've attacked her child. And it's sad. It's really...
Body camera footage captures the unsettling moment Broward deputies are seen urging Dior Hadley to climb into a pickup truck, despite her insisting she didn't know the people inside. The video shows the tense exchange unfold in real time, raising serious questions about why officers encouraged her to leave with strangers instead of ensuring her safety.
Roc Nation, my mother Desiree Perez, all these law firms, Quinn & Daniel, Reed Smith, they have a lot of money and connections and resources. It's really sad. Somebody so resourceful, talented, high profile as Nicki Minaj being targeted. It should really scare the American people. It should really scare you guys too, right? Because I'm the daughter, so it's like at this point, if it's happening to me, I think she's really outspoken, and I'm grateful that she's being outspoken on it. because I think she's almost seeing it like, well, it happened to me, it's happening to her. Let me speak up on it. Nobody's.
Dior claims that after the encounter, they drove her to a hospital against her will, all because a doctor had signed paperwork declaring her a danger to herself. She insists the decision was made without proper evaluation, leaving her feeling powerless as strangers determined her fate in a matter of
Earlier
minutes.
this month, officers arrived at Minaj's home around 6 p.m. to investigate a report that Nicki's 3-year-old son was being abused. After examining the toddler, officers determined he was safe and they left, but another call was made in the early morning hours, and around 3 a.m. Minaj and her family were awakened after a fire was reported at her home. Firefighters arrived and found no flames. Swatting is a term used by law enforcement officials used to describe an act of making a false report in order to get a response from police that can involve an armed SWAT team.
And according to Dior, the person pulling the strings wasn't a stranger at all. It was her own mother. In a shocking twist laid out in her lawsuit, Dior accuses Desiree Perez of orchestrating the entire ordeal, allegedly using unlawful tactics to have her falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
Rapper Nicki Minaj was the apparent target of a swatting call last night at around 7 p.m. The LA County Sheriff's Department received a call claiming an assault with a deadly weapon had occurred at the Grammy winner's Hidden Hills residence. The caller claimed somebody had shot a black female adult, and two suspects wearing all black were still on the property. But when deputies arrived at Minaj's residence, there was no evidence of any crime.
That's exactly why Nicki isn't staying quiet anymore. She's coming with receipts. If Roc Nation really is working with federal agencies behind the scenes, that means any outspoken rapper could find themselves next in line. And what Nicki dropped online is nothing short of explosive. She posted a screenshot straight out of a legal filing, not some random rumor from social media, that claims Roc Nation and Desiree Perez have been teaming up with federal agents to keep tabs on artists. The document even goes as far as to label Desiree a confidential informant for federal law enforcement, allegedly pulling strings behind the curtain of the music industry. And it gets even darker. That screenshot comes directly from a lawsuit filed by Desiree Perez's own daughter, Dior Hadley. In those court records, Dior accuses her mother of having her locked away in a mental institution with no real medical justification, just raw power moves and legal connections clearing the way. To back it up, Dior even released body cam footage of the exact moment authorities took her away, claiming the entire thing was a calculated setup orchestrated by her own mother. And if that's what Desiree can allegedly do to her own blood, the question becomes, what could she do to anyone else who dares to cross her? Now get this, the reason behind it all is even more disturbing. According to Deer's legal filing, Desiree allegedly used her influence and cash to wreck Deer's marriage to Jebin Hadley. Derry says her mother threatened to hit her with the Baker Act, which is Florida's controversial psychiatric hold law, unless she filed for divorce. That's serious manipulation with legal weight behind it. The Baker Act lets law enforcement, judges, or licensed professionals detain someone for up to 72 hours if they're believed to be a danger to themselves or others due to mental illness. But here's where it takes a disturbing turn. According to Dare Hadley's lawsuit, the real reason Desiree Perez wanted her daughter to leave her husband, Jebin Hadley, is because he's black. That's right. Desiree Perez, the same woman chosen by Jay-Z to help lead Roc Nation, is being accused of racism by her own daughter. The legal complaint even quotes Desiree threatening Dare, saying, "I'm going to bake or act you. If you stay with that N-word, I will have you committed." That's not all. Dar didn't just make claims. She came with receipts. She included dozens of pages of medical records proving she wasn't under any mental distress at the time. According to the lawsuit, she was sober, healthy, and stable, and had no medical reason to be institutionalized. Dar didn't just stop at filing a lawsuit. She took her fight public. Posting those same court records on X, she went after fake blogs, burner accounts, and trolls trying to spin her story into something it wasn't. In her caption, she laid out hard facts. She passed multiple blood tests, urine screens from 3 separate clinics, and even underwent a hair follicle test, which digs back over 3 months of drug history. Every single test came back clean. On top of that, she says she has over a decade of primary care records and full medical screenings, proving she's never struggled with substance issues. Dar made it crystal clear. "I have never done drugs. I have never drunk alcohol. She stood on her truth with documented proof, painting a picture of a situation that feels more like a calculated takedown than a chaotic misunderstanding. So how does all of this circle back to Nicki Minaj? That's where things get even more unsettling, and why Nicki's decision to go public could be shaking the industry to its core. Because Nicki has been ringing this alarm bell about Desiree Perez and Jay-Z for years, yet the industry kept dismissing her, chalking it up to bitterness or petty rap beef. But now, with Dior Hadley's lawsuit surfacing, Nicki's words are hitting a lot different. Think back to last year's heated back and forth between Nicki and Megan Thee Stallion. In the middle of all that chaos, Nicki hinted she was ready to put Desiree's alleged shady dealings on blast. She even accused Desiree of firing multiple Roc Nation employees out of nowhere, claiming they were blindsided and devastated by the sudden decisions. Nicki posted, "On the next song, I delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons. Other things as well. So many people were blindsided and hurt by her allegedly." Then she dropped a chilling line. "She's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Fix it, Jesus." According to Nicki, those firings weren't random. They were straight retaliation against anyone who dared to support her. Now Desiree's own daughter is co-signing that narrative, backing up claims that Roc Nation and Desiree have allegedly played a dangerous, calculated game behind the scenes to destroy Nicki's career. And it gets worse. In a recent interview, Dior revealed that Roc Nation didn't just come for her. They allegedly targeted her entire family. She claims her husband and even her child were caught in the crossfire of this power play, comparing her own forced hospitalization to what Nicki endured publicly. Both, she says, are examples of just how far Desiree Perez and Roc Nation are willing to go when they feel threatened. After seeing Dior's detailed lawsuit, Nicki wasted no time firing off a message on X. She clapped back hard at the doubters, saying, "To the PMs who claim it wasn't made clear to your ugly asses, hopefully DAR's massive and detailed page-by-page claim gets you all the way caught up. And never call me a liar, never insinuate either. Every single angel ever created fights for me at the mere mention of that word as it relates to me. Vengeance is the Lord's. Be careful. No one who conspired on the wrong side will go unpunished for the role they played in this movie. I hope it was all worth it." Nicki then confirmed the rumors that had been swirling for months, that Roc Nation allegedly targeted her own husband and child, claiming, "Powerful people are still out here trying to rip a husband away from his wife and child, pushing a dark agenda behind closed doors." And just when you think it can't get darker, Nicki takes it a step further. She says the terrifying series of swatting incidents that started hitting her home in mid-2023 were no coincidence. According to her, this was part of Roc Nation's twisted campaign to break her. The first swatting call was a fake report to police alleging Nicki was harming her child. LAPD stormed her house, searched everything, and found absolutely nothing. Yet the calls kept coming. This wasn't bad luck or random trolls. If Nicki's claims are true, it's a calculated, organized effort to terrorize her and her family. And now, with Dior Hadley's story on the table, the puzzle pieces are lining up in a way that's hard to ignore. But that wasn't the end of it. Just hours after the first fake emergency call, another bogus report came in, this time claiming there was a fire at Nicki's house. Authorities rushed to the scene again, only to find nothing. Weeks later, it escalated even further. A third call claimed Nicki had been shot. Once again, armed officers stormed her home, only to leave empty-handed. According to the LA Times, the LA County Sheriff's Department confirmed responding to one of these calls in Hidden Hills. The report claimed a friend had shot a black woman, a serious, dangerous allegation. A neighbor even told reporters that law enforcement showed up in full force, only to discover absolutely nothing going on. This wasn't a one-off prank. It was a repeated, calculated pattern of harassment designed to shake Nicki's sense of safety in her own home, with her child nearby. And when you line up the timeline, it's hard to ignore the bigger picture. These swatting calls, the false reports, the online smear campaigns, they all kicked off right when Nicki was openly calling out Roc Nation, hinting that something much darker was happening behind closed doors. So, when Desiree Perez's own daughter claims Roc Nation and her mother will destroy anyone who steps out of line, and Nicki gets terrorized with fake emergencies involving her child, you have to ask, was this all part of a bigger agenda? Was Roc Nation sending a coded warning? Because by now, coincidence doesn't seem like an option. The deeper you dig, the darker it gets, because Desiree Perez isn't just some powerful label executive. Her past is lined with serious federal charges. According to investigative reporting by the Account Resists Programming on X, Desiree was arrested in 1994 for trafficking 35 kilos of cocaine and conspiracy to distribute controlled substances. Court documents obtained by the New York Daily News detail how she was allegedly part of a major drug ring moving weight between New York, Florida, and Puerto Rico. And she wasn't moving solo. Her husband, Juan O.G. Perez, was also tied into that network. Juan happens to be one of Jay-Z's oldest friends. The two have decades of history together, co-founding the iconic 40/40 Club in the mid-90s, and years later, Jay-Z made Juan the president of Roc Nation Sports. To this day, they're still tight, business partners and family friends alike. But what happened when Desiree got caught moving all that weight? Here's where things take a chilling turn. According to public records, she avoided prison time by flipping. She became a federal informant, cut a deal with authorities, and walked away with just 5 years of probation. Reports even allege that she wore a wire to help federal agents take down her former associates. A 2014 New York Daily News article confirmed those claims, cementing her history as a cooperating informant. And now, decades later, she's one of the most powerful women in the music industry, allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes while serious questions about her past and present alliances continue to linger. The feds once called Desiree Perez their star mole. A federal report described her as a Manhattan nightclub manager with heavy ties to the hip-hop world and a rap sheet stacked with major charges. The article highlighted her long, unpredictable past as a DEA cooperating witness, even noting she was on the run at one point before cutting deals. Yes, Desiree may have been officially pardoned years later, but according to multiple industry voices, including Nicki Minaj, the informant work never really stopped. Nicki has repeatedly claimed that both Desiree and Jay-Z are playing double roles, operating as government informants while running Roc Nation as more than just a record label. In Nicki's words, it's a front built to trap rappers and keep the entire culture under surveillance. And the clearest example? Tory Lanez, the one artist many believe was caught in the crosshairs of that very setup. Right after Tory's guilty verdict, his father stormed out of the courthouse, screaming to the media that Desiree Perez, Jay-Z, and Roc Nation trade and barter the souls of young men. His outrage wasn't just about losing his son to the system. It was a direct shot at what he believed was a powerful machine, manipulating legal outcomes from the shadows. But Tory wasn't the only one caught up. Nicki warned years ago, anyone who steps out of line with Roc Nation eventually faces serious legal heat. Look at 6ix9ine. He was branded the ultimate snitch during his RICO case, dragged relentlessly by the media. But what people rarely talk about is that 6ix9ine publicly teamed up with Nicki to call out Desiree Perez and Roc Nation. Not long after, his entire reputation was systematically destroyed. Then there's Casanova, another Roc Nation artist, suddenly buried under federal RICO charges. What made it strange? Casanova had just started questioning Roc Nation's business dealings before the feds came knocking. Even the way the indictment unfolded looked eerily like the pattern Nicki has been exposing. Get artists locked into deals, control their every move, and if they resist, destroy them. And according to Nicki, the list doesn't stop there. She's got more names: rappers, managers, executives, judges, and even major media players allegedly tied into this web of control. If Nicki goes all in and exposes every connection, Roc Nation could be staring down a public collapse unlike anything the industry has ever seen. This is far from over. The pieces are only now being put together, and when the full picture comes out, it could shake hip-hop to its core. Stay tuned.